What's happening, guys? Jim the Game Guru. Okay, so today we have an update for a new version of one of my family's favorite party games, Goat Lords. Yes, so this is the very first Goat Lords, and they have recently released the sequel to Goat Lords. I don't know if you want to call this Goat Lords 2 or whatever, but it is basically another version of the Goat Lords party game. Same type of mechanics, just different cards that have different powers as far as the action cards. If you guys are new here, please consider subscribing or following. I am going to tear into this game and show you the cards. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a how-to on it. I already did a how-to on the first Goat Lords, but I think I'll do another how-to on the new version. The gameplay has not changed at all. But looking at the new cards, you kind of get an idea of, what the new powers are. So one question could be, well, is it worth getting this version of the game and not get this one, or get them both, or get this one and not get this one, or are you going to be missing something? No. The answer to that is no. You're not going to miss anything if you end up getting one version over the other. The one thing I think is really unique in this game, though, is if you mix the two together, you can actually have 7 cards in your hand instead of 5 cards in your hand, and you'll have a greater variety with having all of the cards from both sets. So I think that's really, really cool when you mix the two sets together. But as far as the individual games themselves, whether or not to buy one over the other, it really doesn't matter. Either one works if you don't want to buy them both. Either one will work and you'll have a great time. It's a great, great party game. So let's go ahead, dig in. I'll show you some of the cards here for this one and then do a quick how-to. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. I'm going to open up and show you the cards of Goat Lords 2. So that's what I'm going to call it. It says Goats, again, the sequel, sneaky, cutesy, cuddly, and dangerous, but I guess I'll call this Goat Lords 2. And the listing on Amazon for this product actually does have it as Goat Lords 2. So you have a new style of an instruction manual. The older instruction manual was not a flip out like this. They've actually changed the design quite a bit on here. It's almost like they're taking aspects from Exploding Kittens and Unstable Unicorns, those game companies, and kind of taking what they've done in their instruction manuals and almost copied them. Obviously not word for word because this game is completely different, but at least the art style and the way it's laid out, it feels like the manual for one of those other games, even though it is completely different instructions and completely different gameplay. So it's very colorful, cartoony, kind of bubbly. I think a lot of the cute party games are kind of going that way. And like I said before, Goat Lords is one of my family's favorite party games. And why is it? Because it is very, very, very simple to play. And it's got this awesome mechanic about dueling and dueling 4 players goat stacks. So let's go ahead and dig into some of these cards. Now, the very top cards here are going to be all the action cards, and then we're going to get into the goat type cards. So we got Merry Goat Round, which is trade top stack with 1 player plus 1 play. Disco Goat, draw 2 cards and you get plus 2 play. Alligator, I like this one. This one's actually kind of cool. This one basically acts like a wild card for any of your goats. So even though it's an action card and it sits in your action card pile, you can then use it whenever to complete a set. Goldilocks, everyone passes 1 card plus 1 play. Let It Goat, based off of Frozen, which is kind of cool. All players give 1 goat to your new goat stack. And I've actually looked at the instructions for this. Basically, you pick a goat and then everyone has to give you the same goat, 1 card of that same goat to you. Zombie Goat, which is pick up a used action card and play it, which is kind of neat because whenever you use action cards, you put them in a trash pile. And this looks like you can go to the trash pile and play any of those actions. Goatfish is ask 1 player for 1 type of goat, and it gives you a plus 1 play. The 3D Goat, it's birth mismatched goats. So you can actually create a goat pile of 2 goats from that are different kinds of goats. You don't have to match them. Banana goat. Bring an opponent's stack of your choice to the top of their pile, +1 play. And there is a very similar game. There's a very similar card like this in the original Goat Lords. I can't remember what it's called, but it does the same exact thing. Goat cart, escape attacks of all kinds. This one is like the Sasquatch card in the original Goat Lords. All right, so those are all the action cards, and then it's going to get into the wild cards. We have Sugar Goated, which is worth 50. We've got Vincent Van Gogh, which is worth 25. And then we've got now regular goat cards. We've got Goat Stash. Okay. Let's see what else we have. We have Goat Meal, which is worth 15. And then we have Goat Sickle, which is worth 20. And then we have for 5 points Flamingoat. So that's that stack. Let's get into the other stack here, see what the other cards are. So the other stack, it carries on with Flamingoat. Okay, and then we have the Swiss Goatler, which is worth 10 points. And then after Swiss Goatler, we got Goatbot, which is worth 10. And then after Goatbot, we've got Goatzilla, which is worth 15. And then after Goatzilla, Goatarist, which is worth 5. I like these cards better. I think the theme on these cards are just a little nicer. We have Wall Goat, which is worth 15 points. And then the very last card is Goat Busters, Who You Goat a Call, which is kind of cool. I like that card. Yeah, and these cards, I don't know if there's something different with these cards. Maybe not. Maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me. But I feel like these cards in the newer set feel a little smoother. But it may just be because they're a fresh cut of cards. And maybe my mind is actually playing tricks on me. So I doubt there's anything really new with those. So that is the entire new set of cards from Goat Lords 2. I'm going to shuffle these cards up and I'll do a quick how-to play now. As far as playing these two cards together, like I said earlier, if you put all these cards with these cards, you can actually play with 7 cards in your hand, which I think is really awesome. So if you ever want to mix it up and you don't want to do the normal 5 cards, then you can go ahead and put the two together. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that this does not say anything about expanding the number of players from the first set. So there is an expansion to Goat Lords, which I have that purchased as well, and that it's a very small expansion. I would say it's probably about this many cards. Okay, so it's not very big, but that expansion actually extends Goat Lords from 6 players to 8 players. So I'm kind of curious, if you put these two sets together, but you didn't increase the hand set to 7, you kept it at 5, with this many cards, would you be able to increase the player count to something like 10? Possibly with a 5-card hand. I'm not sure. It doesn't say in the manual. At least I didn't see it in the manual. So I'm kind of curious if you put the two together and you have 5-card hands, whether or not you'd be able to do a 10-player extension, or if it would just be 8 like that other smaller expansion. But let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these real quick, and then I'll see you on the other side of the shuffle, and I'll do a quick how-to on this. All right, so here we go. I have it set up for a 3-person game. So I'm going to do a quick simulation. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my hand to see if anyone has an action card in their hand. Because in this game, you are not allowed to have action cards in your hand. You can only have goats in your hand. So this person actually has 2 action cards. They're going to go ahead and draw 2 more. Let's see if they get some more. Okay, so now they have all goats. So there you go, all goats. Let's take a look at this person. Let's see what they have in their hand. Looks like they got a wild card and everything else is a goat. Okay, so they're good. And then over here, what do we have? We have this person who has all goats. There you go. Okay, so every player always has 5 cards in their hand. And then at the end of every single person's turn, the people involved in duels will end up replenishing their hands if they go below 5. So pretty much most of the time, everyone's going to have a card hand until you get to the very end of the game. There's nothing left in the draw pile, and people are just playing out their hands until the very end of the game. You can only have 3 action cards on your side. So this player over here has 2 action cards. They can only have a maximum of 3. Once they get a 4th action card, they're going to have to choose one of the action cards to put in the trash pile. In the center, we have a draw deck. And next to the draw deck, we'll have a discard pile. And then over here, we'll have a trash pile. So there's a concept in this game called being in the pasture. So in order to be in the pasture, so we'll go ahead and start off with this player over here. So in order to be in the pasture, you have to have a set of goats, which is just 2 cards. And this game is all about putting 2 goats in a pile for every single set until you get to the dueling, and then that's how you'll end up getting bigger sets. So when we start off the game, we're going to end up drawing 1 card from the top to put over here to the discard pile. And the way you can put a pair of goats down is either match them up in your hand or pick one up from the discard pile to match up the card in your hand. Nothing here for this player. They don't have anything. They can't match a single thing. So this player is going to go ahead and drop a 5 card down, and then they're going to go ahead and draw a card. So there we go. They got a wild card now. So next time they go ahead and play, they'll be able to put down a pair. This person over here goes, and what's going to happen is they're going to look in their cards. Now they look at their cards and they're like, okay, well, this wild card's the only thing that can actually make a pair. So I'm going to go ahead and pair this wild card with this 15 pointer right here. And then that's going to make a pair of goats. That's going to be the very first stack. This player is in the pasture. They are now able to duel for other goat stacks that other people have. Now, there is a rule in this game that you're not allowed to duel somebody for their base stack. And so this stack right here is a base stack. You cannot duel somebody for their base stack. So everyone's always going to have a stack. So once you get into the pasture, you are in the pasture. Now, this is one thing that I was not made aware of for the longest time when I was playing, and because I missed it in the instructions of the game. And just recently, when I revisited the instructions, I'm like, oh, wow, every time we play this game, we always play that you can duel even if you only have 1 stack. But now I know. Okay, so this person now puts down 2 cards a stack. It ends their turn. They go ahead and draw 2 cards. And then they draw another 2 sets of another 2 goat cards. So they're good. This person over here goes. So what are they going to do? They're going to go ahead and put their 2 15 pointers down. And they're going to put them down. Actually, you know what? Yeah, they have to do that because they need to create a base stack first before they can duel. They could have dueled for this stack right here if they actually already had a stack in play, but they did not. So let's go ahead and draw up to 5. Oh, that's an action card. So immediately when they get an action card, they put an action card down, and they have to draw again. And there's another action card. They got Banana Goat this time. So they put that down. So that player now has 2 action cards. And then they draw 2 more cards to complete a 5-card hand of goats. So now they go ahead and put their hand down. So this is their stack. That's their stack. This person over here is still not in the pasture. So they are going to become in the pasture now because they're going to put Sugar Goated with Goatzilla. So these 2 cards together, this is a wild card that can go with any other goat card. So this player, now whenever you put your stack down in front of you, you're going to want to put it with the non-wild card up. That way you know which card to duel for when you go for a duel. Okay, so now they're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards. There you go. They've got a hand of 5 goats now. So we're going to go over here now, and we're going to go, and this person's going to lay down the 2 flamingoes, and they're going to put this stack just like that, opposite direction, kind of. So you have 1 stack this way, and then you have another stack. Every stack you put on top is going to be the other direction, so you know what the different stacks are in your pile. So in this goat stack pile, this is the top, and then this being the bottom base one. Anytime you duel for another person's goat stack, you're going to duel for the very top card. And the top stacks will protect any of the other stacks below it besides the very bottom base one, because no one can actually duel for that one. So they went ahead and put their 2 cards down to create that stack, and then now they go ahead and draw 2 more. So we're gonna get close to dueling here in a second. This person here, they got nothing, but they can draw from the discard pile. There you go. They draw from the discard pile. They create it's what's called an assisted birth. And they put their next goat stack right there. And then they draw another card up like this. There you go. So now they got another 5 hands of goats. So let's go over here. This person, what are they going to do here? Okay. So they have a goat stack already in place, so that means they're able to duel. They're going to go ahead and duel for... Actually, you know what? They're going to go ahead and try to duel for this person's flamingos. And the way you do a duel is you throw down a card that you wanted to duel against another player. So this player is going to go ahead and throw this goat card down and say, I want to duel for this stack. And then this person over here looks at their hand and like, do I have that same type of goat to defend this stack? If they want to defend it. But they don't have to defend it if they don't want to. If it's a crappy stack like this, that's only worth 10 points. A lot of times people will just end up not even battling for it. They're like, here you go, have it. Because it's not worth it for the 10 points. But this person here does not have any of the flamingoes anyway to match, so they give it up. So now this person over here won this duel. In what they do is they take these 3 cards and they put it as a stack. This is how the stacks grow. Because every time you put stacks down from your hand, they're only going to be 2 cards. But when you do the dueling, these stacks can grow infinitely. Well, I shouldn't say infinitely, I should say finitely, because there's only a certain number of cards in the deck. But you get the idea. They can continuously grow until you run out of cards. All right. So this person over here is going to go ahead and draw. Oh, and look, they draw another 50 wild card, which is kind of cool. Now, this person was involved in the duel, but they did not throw down any cards to defend. And that's okay. So what they're going to go now on their turn, they're going to go ahead and do the 2 robot goats. And they're going to put those together and create a new stack, put it right on top. And then they're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards to get back up to 5 goats in their hand. All right, so that goes down. The next player comes up and is going to say, "Who can I battle for anything?" Not really. And they can't put anything down. The only thing they can battle for is this flamingo. So the flamingo, they put that down. They say, okay, I want to battle you for this flamingo stack. This player over here takes a look at their stack. The only thing they have to defend with is a sugar goated 50-point wild card right here, because they don't have any flamingos. So they're going to go ahead and gamble. They'll just go ahead and throw their 50. You know, in reality, they probably wouldn't defend this because it's only 15 points. They probably wouldn't care. But let's just have some fun. So they throw down the 50 to defend the duel. Now what happens in the duel is you go back and forth. And until you get to a player that cannot put a card down. And that player that cannot put a card down loses the duel. It's not about matching cards, like 1 for 1 or anything like that. It goes back and forth. So the attacker attacks, the defender then puts down a card, then the attacker tries to keep attacking. If they have another card, then the defender has to throw down another card to defend. It's about the last person that throws down a card, whether it's attacker or defender, is the winner of the duel regardless. It's not about throwing the same amount of goats or anything down. So this person over here is going to look at their hand. They're like, oh, well, I don't have anything now. That's it. I can't do anything. So this defending stack player over here wins the duel, and they take all of these cards and they throw it into their existing stack. And look, and you can see how it grows, right? Now this flamingo has got 5 for 20 points plus the 50 wild card. That's worth 70 points right there. And then these big stacks become targets later on. So now these 2 players here are down to 4 cards, right? Because they were part of the duel. And now this player is going to go ahead and draw another one and go back up to 5. And this player right over here is going to draw another one. Yep, and they get an action. So they got the 3rd action card. They put it over there. Now they've got 5 goat cards there. So when do you play the action cards?
You can play the action cards as your first action on your turn. Let's see what this person over here has. I'm kind of curious because I can't remember what the action cards were. So this person's got a goat card, which escapes all kinds of attacks. He's also got a 3D goat card, and then he's got a banana goat. So what you do is you play these action cards on the very beginning of your turn, because a lot of these action cards will give you like a +1 or a +2 play. So like for instance, this one is bring an opponent's stack of your choice to the top of their pile. So this would bring like a bottom card stack all the way to the top, and then it'll give you a +1 play, which means you can then go ahead and attack and do a duel, because you're only allowed one action on your turn, which is to lay down matches or duel or draw or discard. And you want to play the cards that give you the +1 plays first, the action cards first, so then that way you can make another play after that. The goat card, you're only going to play that when someone attacks you, and then the 3D goat is one that you can throw down mismatched goat cards to make a match. This person over here, I think, is what? Got a goat card as well. Got a goat card and it's got a goat fish. Ask one player for one type of goat. Okay. So this person's gonna go over here now. I'm just gonna do a little bit more and then I'm gonna stop. But you can kind of see how the game is played. It's pretty simple. So is there anything he can battle for? Let's go over here, and you're gonna notice there's a lot of dueling in this game. A lot of dueling. You're gonna get to a point where people are gonna be putting down less matches out of their hand. Well, I wouldn't say less. It gets to a point where if they've got something to put down to protect another stack, they will. But there's going to be a lot more duels as you get toward the middle and end of the game. So they're dueling them for this stack, and this player over here takes a look and says, "Do I have anything to defend?" No, I do not. So since they do not have anything to defend, this person wins the stack, and now this stack goes like that. See? This way, and then this way. That way you can separate your stacks that you have in your herd. So this is like your goat herd stacks and in your pasture. So now this person here draws another card. And then now this next player goes here. What do they have? Oh, there we go. They have Swiss Goatler as their match. And I cannot duel for this person because this person only has their base stack. So I cannot duel them for that. So they're going to go and put that down, and then they're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards, right? So draw 2 cards, and then they're up to 5 cards with goats. Now this player is going to go, and let's see what we have. They have a match of Swiss as well. But when players go around the table and they're putting down matches from their hand, they're not going to get a lot of points by doing that. And that's another reason why you're going to see a lot more duels as the game goes on, because that's the only way to get big point stacks. If you don't do that, you're going to be putting down these little nickel and dime stacks, and they're just not going to amount to any points. And I've seen people lose horribly in this game, and they have a huge row of stacks, but they're all like 10 or 20 or 30 point stacks that no one cares about, and they just didn't duel for anything. All right, so this person's going to go. They're going to go ahead and duel this. You know what? They're going to duel this person. Why not? For this goat, because they both have the Goatler. So this person here is going to look and say, "Oh, can I defend this stack?" "No, I can't, you bastard. You threw that down, and I have nothing in my hand to defend it." So they have to give that up. Now that's worth 30 points, and that goes over here just like that. And that is pretty much how you play Goat Lords. It's really easy. You go around the table. You just keep dueling for goats. You put them in little stacks in your piles here in your herd, and then you have 3 action cards that you're going to have face down, and you're going to play them at the beginning of your turn. And usually what I do in this game with the action cards is I'll usually save certain action cards until the very end, so that I can combo them one after the other. I do it all the time when I play this game. So I'll usually have a card that will bring up a goat stack from somebody's pile from the bottom to the top, one that I really, really want. And then after that, I'll probably play another card that gives me a draw 2, and then it gives me a +2 play, and then I'll do the dueling and throwing down some other goat cards. That's usually how I play this game. I like to do these combos one after the other. And you can do that if you effectively wait with your action cards. And then what happens is at the very end of the game, what you're going to do is you're going to tally up the points in all of your goat cards. See all these goat stacks. If the game were to end right here, right now, the way it is here, this player would definitely win because they have a whole lot more points in their goat stack. But this game continues until the actual draw pile is empty. And then you keep going around the table until no one can create any more stacks of goats in their pile. Once that happens, the game is over and everyone tallies up their points that they have in their piles. And then the person with the most points by counting the points on the goat cards is the winner. That's it. Really simple. It's a great, easy family game, and it's great for just having, simple party fun and just sitting around drinking. I mean, I like to sit around and drink and just have fun and just mouth off and just throw cards down. That's one of the best things about this game, and that is why it's a family favorite, because you don't have to think too much, and you can actually have people that are very casual gamers that are not very good at board games. They can jump in and play this game anytime. It's very easy to explain to them. That's it, guys. If you like this video, please like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.